Good morning, everybody. In the last class, we were doing the S.R.Bommai case. Now we have to do that. We have to continue with that. But before that, there were some questions, five, six questions in the last class, which I need to answer. The first question in the last class, which is relevant to be answered, is: can we say secularism is religion of mankind and humanity? Can we say secularism is the religion of mankind and humanity? Now, that is a philosophical question, but again, that is very practical also. If you look at secularism in the broad sense, then yes, it is. Then yes, it is the religion of mankind and humanity. In the broader sense of fraternity, yes. If you talk about things in terms of only religion, then also you can broadly say yes. But secularism, at times, this term is used in a much broader sense to imply fraternity. So when you look at it from the point of view of fraternity, then answer is yes. Then the second question was, freedom of religion includes freedom from religion? Now this is an important question. Freedom of religion, freedom of religion does it imply freedom from religion? Does it imply freedom from religion? This means that if a person does not want to follow any religion, suppose I do not want to follow any religion, then do I have that right under the Constitution? If I do not want to follow any religion, then do I have that right under the Constitution? That is freedom from religion. In one sense, freedom from the religious control. So obviously, that is there. I told you the Western secularism was all about it. That freedom from religious control. Now, in India, this freedom from religious control, this situation broadly does not exist. Freedom is a part and parcel of one's life. But suppose a person does not want to follow any religion, then does he have that freedom? If you look at it, suppose a person wants to be an atheist. Suppose a person wants to be an atheist, नास्तिक. नास्तिक मीन्स किसी धर्म को नहीं मानने वाला, someone who does not follow any religion. Someone who does not follow any religion, so he is a Nastik. So, does Article 25 guarantee atheism also? Does Article 25 guarantee atheism or atheists also? You see, Article 25 gives you the freedom of conscience. When you read Article 25, it gives you the freedom of conscience. First it talks about freedom of conscience, and then it talks about freedom to profess, propagate and practice one's religion. So conscience means what? Freedom of thought. Freedom of one's own mental thought. So if I today believe that there is no God and I do not believe in any God, so that is allowed to me. ये freedom of conscience में ही, in the freedom of conscience only, I am allowed the freedom not to believe in any religion. So Article 25 guarantees not only religious freedom, that is, you are free to follow any religion. Rather, Article 25 also impliedly guarantees that you are free not to follow any religion. If I am an atheist, then I should not disturb the others who follow religion. I should not disturb them. But otherwise, within myself, I may believe that there is no God. I am not an atheist. मैं personally atheist नहीं हूँ. लेकिन if someone is an atheist, then that guarantee he has under Article 25 itself. ठीक है. And then someone had asked me a related question: is a person being an atheist? Another related question: is a person being an atheist, is it not anti-secular? Not at all. If a person A does not believe in any religion, if a person A does not believe in any religion, then that in itself is not anti-secular, as long as he does not disturb the people of the various religions to follow their practices and propagation, etc. तो जब तक एक व्यक्ति किसी दूसरे धर्म के लोगों को डिस्टर्ब नहीं करता, उनके धार्मिक स्वतंत्रता का हनन नहीं करता, तब तक वो एथेइस्ट है, तो उसको रहने दो. दैट डज नॉट डिस्टर्ब द अदर्स एंड देयरफॉर इट इज नॉट एंटी सेक्युलर. देन देयर वाज अ थर्ड क्वेश्चन: if there is a conflict between the preamble and some express provisions of the Constitution. If there is a conflict between the preamble and some express provisions of the Constitution, then which will prevail? If there is a conflict between the preamble of the Constitution and some express provision of the Constitution, then which will prevail? Now the answer to this is that you will not find any express provision which is in conflict with the preamble. You will not find any express provision which is in conflict with the preamble, because preamble is a summary of the Constitution. But still in a hypothetical situation, if you find that the preamble comes into conflict, in a hypothetical situation, if you find that the preamble comes in conflict with some express provision, then the preamble is not an operative part, the express provision is an operative part, and therefore the express provision will prevail. हालांकि we have to bring about a balance between the preamble and the express provision. So we need to interpret the express provision in such a manner that conflict between the provision and the preamble does not arise. But suppose that kind of an interpretation is not possible, then the express provision will prevail. But again, that is a hypothetical situation. This situation will practically never arise, because the preamble is a summary of the entire Constitution. And I told you, when I taught you the preamble, I told you that the preamble is not a source, but is a manifestation of the basic structure. So if the preamble is a manifestation of the basic structure, then in that case, if the preamble is a manifestation of the basic structure, then in that case, how can a provision come in conflict with the preamble? ठीक है. ठीक, that's all. Now the next question. Next question: is promoting secularism a fundamental duty? Is promoting secularism a fundamental duty? अब आप एक बार फंडामेंटल ड्यूटी निकालिएगा. प्लीज टेक आउट फंडामेंटल ड्यूटी इन योर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, द बेयर एक्ट ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. आर्टिकल 51A. आर्टिकल 51A. The first clause, that is clause A, says what? It shall be the duty of every citizen of India, it shall be the duty of every citizen of India, number A, to abide by the Constitution and to respect its ideals and institutions, the national flag and the national anthem. To abide by the Constitution and respect its ideals and institutions, the national flag and the national anthem. Clause B, to cherish and follow the noble ideals which inspired our struggle for freedom. To cherish and follow the noble ideals which inspired our national struggle for freedom. अब ये जो this second clause that you have, clause B, that clearly suggests that it is the fundamental duty of every individual in India. It is the fundamental duty of every individual in India to cherish the ideals of the freedom movement, and the same ideals have been incorporated in the Constitution. Hence, it is the fundamental duty of every individual to cherish the essential principles and the values of the Constitution. Secularism being one such essential principle, it is the fundamental duty of every citizen of India to follow and to promote secularism. So in clause B you will find, that fundamental duty is implicit, that the fundamental duty to protect and promote, conserve secularism is implicit. The answer is yes. Is promoting secularism a fundamental duty? The answer is yes. Is promoting socialism a fundamental duty? The answer is yes. Promoting fundamental duty, the answer is yes. Just a minute. If you look at clause E, someone has suggested here, if you look at clause E, it writes to promote harmony and spirit of common brotherhood amongst all people of India, transcending religious, linguistic and regional or social sectional diversities, to renounce practices derogatory to the dignity of women, to promote harmony and the spirit of common brotherhood amongst the people of India, transcending religious, linguistic and regional or sectional diversities. So here also you can say the fundamental duty to uphold and to promote secularism is there, because they are talking broadly about fraternity in clause E, to promote fraternity. So secularism is one means to promote fraternity. So therefore it is a fundamental duty. Whatever values and principles of the Constitution you have, it is the fundamental duty of every citizen of India to promote that particular principle. Fifth one, giving religious instruction of other religion, will it be violative? Giving religious instruction of other religion, will it be violative? Now I could not understand this question, the context in which you are asking. I think you are asking about, say suppose there is a school established by the Hindu community, but in that school, along with the religious instructions regarding Hinduism, they are also giving religious instructions regarding Islam, regarding Sikhism, regarding Christianity. So will it be allowed? Answer is why not? Answer is why not? Because that will promote fraternity, that will promote secularism. So answer is yes. But again, giving religious instructions in schools and colleges, how much it is permissible For that we have to read Article 28. So once we have read Article 28, you will understand this question better. But आपके question का जो spirit है, the spirit of your question, the answer is, if it promotes fraternity and secularism, answer is yes. Then last one, question number 6, separating religion from politics, is it a proactive role of the state? Separating religion from politics, is it a proactive role of the state? Is it a proactive role of the state? Separating religion from politics. I think yes. If the state uses religion as a tool for its politics, then that is constitutionally not proper. Politically it may be doing so, and politically it may be proper. Halaki, I believe that politically also it is not correct, but constitutionally it is not in the spirit of the constitution. Religion should not be used for politics. Religion should not be used for politics. Any political party which is doing so is not acting in the spirit of the constitution. But again, they do not do it directly, they do it under the garb of something else, and that is why they are able to evade that is why they are able to bypass the constitutional requirements. ये डायरेक्टली नहीं करते हैं, ये इनडायरेक्टली करते हैं, इसलिए शायद ये कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के रिक्वायरमेंट्स को बाईपास कर जाते हैं. बट separating religion from politics is no doubts a proactive role of the state, so that the people's faith in the state, people's faith in the government becomes greater. But everyone knows that political parties have been in the past also, and always they have been using religion in politics. That is a sad affair, but again, let's not get into the political dimension of this. So this is all that was relevant to be answered from the last class. And there is one good news. Those of you who are waiting for iOS, that Apple company has accepted my payment. So now I am a member of the Apple development program. Today morning at 3:47 a.m. I received 2-3 mails from the Apple company, and they have given me the invoice, and my amount from my credit card has been deducted. So means now they have made me a member of the Apple development program. So that is a good news. अभी तक तो payment ही नहीं ले रहे थे. Till now they were not taking the payment itself. Now the next step will be, since they have made me a member, they have allowed me the access to Apple development program. Now next will be my developer. He will create the app for iOS, which will take hardly 2-3 days. Once the app is created, it will be sent to the Apple company. Thereafter, the Apple company will verify the app. Earlier, before Corona, the verification used to take hardly 2 days. तो जिस दिन आपको मेंबर बनाया उसके एक हफ्ते के पहले आपका ऐप iOS पे आ जाता था, लेकिन now they are doing a lot of verifications because there is a huge rush of such apps in the Apple company, so it will take time. लेकिन हाँ, प्रोसेस अब इनिशिएट हो जाएगा. It may take 5 days, 6 days, 7 days, और it may take 1 month also. ये भी ध्यान रखिएगा. ऐसा नहीं कि मैं मेंबर बन गया तो मेरा ऐप लॉन्च हो जाएगा. वो पूरा वेरिफिकेशन करते हैं, ऐप के हर डायमेंशन को वेरीफाई करते हैं. तो दे विल सेंड ईमेल्स, वी विल हैव टू आंसर देम. अब हाउ फास्ट दे डू इट, इट डिपेंड्स अपॉन हाउ मच टाइम दे हैव गॉट. तो हो सकता है महीना भी लग जाए, हो सकता है 20 दिन भी लग जाए, हो सकता है 5-7 दिन में हो जाए. तो अगेन आई कैन नॉट टेल यू, लेकिन हाँ, प्रोसेस हैज बीन इनिशिएटेड, तो इट विल बी डन वेरी सून. अब हाउ सून, because this mail told me that there is a huge rush, So that is why I am anticipating that it will still take some time. It may take a month also. ठीक है. Now we are to start with the topic. S.R.Bommai, we were doing. The first point that I told you was religious tolerance with mutual respect to all religions. Second point I told you was state taking steps to ensure equal protection to all individuals irrespective of their religion. Third point was for the above purpose, the state takes a proactive role, that is, taking positive steps for promoting religious fraternity and tolerance. Third point was for the above purpose, the state takes a proactive role, that is, taking positive steps for promoting religious fraternity and tolerance. तो यहाँ तक तो मैंने लिखवा दिया था. यहाँ तक तो मैंने लिखवा दिया था. Now the fourth point, please take down the fourth point. Please write fourth point. State will not interfere in purely religious matters. State will, fourth point, state will not interfere in purely religious matters. Will not interfere in purely religious matters, but it may control the secular activities. It may control the secular activities associated with. It may control the secular activities associated with religion. It may control the secular activities associated with religion. ठीक है. इसी पॉइंट में एक सेंटेंस और ऐड करो. However, the state may interfere. In pure religious activities also. The state may interfere in pure religious activities also. On the grounds of that everyone knows, on the grounds of health, public order and morality. On the grounds of health, public order and morality. Health, public order and morality. Fine. And also other fundamental rights. Health, public order and morality, and also other fundamental rights. Fine. Fifth point. This point is important and this is often asked in the exams. ये जो लास्ट पॉइंट, पांचवा पॉइंट है, ये अक्सर एग्जाम में पूछा जाता है. Secularism is not anti-religious or anti-God. Secularism is not anti-religious or anti-God. Secularism is not anti-religious or anti-God. Rather, it is a complete personal freedom. It is a complete personal freedom It is a complete personal freedom to all individuals. It is a complete personal freedom to all individuals. It is essential. It is essential for an effective and successful functioning of a democratic form of government. Effective and successful functioning of a democratic form of government. Democratic form of government. Fine. अब देखो this sentence that we had, no? This sentence that we had, secularism is not anti or anti also you call it at times, anti-religious or anti-God. Secularism is not anti-religious or anti-God, rather it is a complete personal freedom. This sentence is often asked in the exam, and they ask you to make a comment or they ask you to make a critical analysis of this sentence. Secularism is not anti-religious or anti-God, rather it is a complete personal freedom of all individuals. Rather it is a complete personal freedom of all individuals. अब ये कह रहे हैं it is not anti-God. They are saying it is not anti-religious or anti-God. It is a complete personal freedom. What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? Secularism is not anti-God or anti-religious. Anti-God or anti-religious means what? Negating God, negating religion. I don't believe in God, I don't believe in religion. So does secularism mean that? क्या सेक्युलरिज्म धर्म को या ईश्वर को, अल्लाह को, क्या सेक्युलरिज्म इन सब को नकारता है? What is the purpose of secularism? To promote religious fraternity. It does not tell you and me, secularism does not tell you and me to give up worshipping God. No. Neither in the Western secularism nor in the Indian secularism. ना तो Western secularism में ना ही Indian secularism में it nowhere says that we must not follow God. You must not follow God. Nowhere it is said. It is said that you have a freedom to follow God. It is said that you have a freedom to follow God and you may follow your God, but at the same time, in the sense of Indian secularism, but at the same time, but at the same time, in the sense of Indian secularism, you have to look at the other religious communities with respect. You have to look at the other religious communities with respect. That is what secularism means. Fraternity, religious fraternity in the Indian context. And in the Western context also, I talked about dark ages, etc. with you. But in the Western concept also, in the Western concept of secularism also, it was not getting rid of God or getting rid of religion. It was getting rid of excessive religious control. Day-to-day life should not be controlled by religion. I am free to do my worship. I am free to do my worship. I am free to follow my religion. But the church, the religion, the priest should not control my day-to-day life. I have got other activities of life also to do. So religion is one dimension of my life and other activities are the other dimension. These other activities should not be controlled by religion. That was the idea of Western secularism. India also, my day-to-day life, right now I am teaching that is one pursuit of my day-to-day life. I am teaching you that is one pursuit of my day-to-day life. Now should religion control this? Should I teach only religion? Should I not teach law? Should I teach only religion? Religion is the only objective of my life. Is that so? Answer is no. Answer is no. So one small dimension of secularism is that religion will not control my entire life. But at the same time, religion is a part and parcel of my life and I am free to follow my religion. I am free to have my conscience, I am free to practice, I am free to propagate, I am free to propagate, practice and profess. I am free to profess my religion and no one can stop me. Plus, added to this, I must look at the other religious communities with respect so that religious tolerance, religious fraternity, religious mutual respect is developed. So, where does secularism, in this entire discussion, where did we say that secularism denies God? Secularism denies religion. I told you that atheism can be also allowed. I told you that atheists are also allowed. But secularism allows it. Secularism does not say that everyone should be atheists. सेक्युलरिज्म ये तो नहीं कहता ना कि हर किसी को नास्तिक होना चाहिए. सेक्युलरिज्म कहता है कि आप अपने धर्म का अनुपालन कर सकते हैं. Secularism does not say that you should be an atheist. If you are, that is fine. But you are free to follow your religion. So therefore, secularism is not about denying religion. Secularism is not about denying God. Secularism is about religion and God being personal to me. It is a complete personal freedom to me to follow my religion, to follow my God, to do my worship, and no one can stop me, no one can interfere, state will not interfere, and at the same time, I shall look at the other religious communities with respect. So that is the broad implication of this. That is how you have to interpret this. Secularism is not anti-religion, it is not anti-God. Rather, it is a complete personal freedom. Please write a small paragraph on this. Though I have discussed everything in the earlier classes, but I just want you to write in case this question comes. So you have to talk about secularism, whatever I have taught to you, but one opening paragraph I am dictating to you. Please write one opening paragraph. Secularism neither in West, secularism neither in West nor in India, nor in India, nor in India does contemplate, nor in India does contemplate a denial of God or a denial of religion, a denial of God or a denial of religion. Rather, secularism is about, rather secularism is about rather secularism is about a complete personal faith, is about a complete personal faith. Rather, secularism is about a complete personal faith. Dash, it is for an individual, it is for an individual, it is for an individual to believe or not to believe in a religion. It is for an individual to believe or not to believe in a religion, or not to believe in a religion. It is for an individual to believe or not to believe in a religion or God. Religion or God. Is that fine? To believe or not to believe in a religion or God. Secularism guarantees to an individual, secularism guarantees to an individual that, secularism guarantees to an individual that neither the state nor any other individual, secularism guarantees to an individual that neither the state nor any other individual will interfere unnecessarily, in his reasonable religious pursuits, unnecessarily interfere in his reasonable religious pursuits, in his reasonable religious pursuits. Fine. It is a matter of complete individual freedom . It is a matter of complete individual freedom of conscience, comma, freedom of conscience, comma, practice, profess and propagate, practice, profess and propagate one's religion. Profess and propagate one's religion. The freedom is to the extent the freedom is to the extent that one can even be, the freedom is to the extent that one can even be an atheist. The freedom is to the extent that one can even be an atheist. One can even be an atheist. In Western secularism, in the earlier Middle Ages, the idea was, in Western secularism, in the earlier Middle Ages, the idea was to get free from the excessive religious control. The idea was to get free from the excessive religious control, in one's day-to-day life. Excessive religious control in one's day-to-day life. But that did not mean that one has to get free from God and religion. One has to get free from God and religion. Rather, in that Western idea of secularism, also, an individual is totally to follow an individual is totally free to follow one's religion. An individual is free to follow one's religion. Fine? Fine? Next paragraph. In India, in general, there was no problem. In India, in general, there was no problem of excessive religious control. In India, there was no problem of excessive religious control, but there was no problem of excessive religious control no problem of excessive religious control, and in fact religion was always a part and parcel of one's daily life. Religion was always a part and parcel of one's daily life. Being a multi-religious society, next sentence. Being a multi-religious society, the main aspect of secularism apart from state neutrality, non-discrimination, and non-interference, was religious fraternity. Was की जगह आप is भी लिख सकते हैं. Instead of was you can write is also. Is religious fraternity as India is and has been a multi-religious society. As India is and has been a multi-religious society. India is and has been a multi-religious society. Is that fine? Multi-religious society. After this, you can go on explaining secularism in India in details, which I have already discussed and dictated to you in the past. ये सब आपको पहले मैं समझा चुका हूँ. अब इसके बाद आप चाहो तो सेक्युलरिज्म पे जो भी प्रोएक्टिव रोल एंड वॉट एवर एल्स यू वांट टू राइट, यू कैन राइट. I was giving the initial part of that answer. Secularism is not anti-God, it is not anti-religious, it is a complete personal freedom. So if they ask you this question, in the judiciary also they can ask you, and in the IAS, so it is a very commonly asked question. So if they ask you this question, you may start from whatever I have dictated. Obviously you can change the format, but points should be broadly in that manner, and then thereafter you can go on talking about Indian secularism in further details with more case laws. You can talk about secularization process also. Secularization process I have already discussed in the last class, so you can talk about that also. ठीक. particularly the fourth dimension of the secularization process you can talk about. You can put in more cases in that. All that we have discussed earlier and all that I have dictated to you. ठीक है? आया समझ में? आया समझ में? हेलो? आया समझ में? Did you understand? ठीक है, let's go ahead then. Someone is asking me, Upasana Goyal is asking me, sir, how long the answer should be? Your answer depends upon the number of questions in the exam. Someday I will tell you how to decide the length of an answer. But normally I tell you that for 1 mark you must write 15 to 20 words. For 1 mark you must write 15 to 20 words. एक नंबर के लिए 15 से 20 शब्द लिखने चाहिए. तो suppose your question is 10 marks. So you should write around 150 to 175, 180 words. If the question is 20 marks, then you should write around 300 to 330, 40. If the question is 40 marks, then you should write 15 into 40, that is around 600 words, 600, 650 words. तो एक नंबर के लिए आपको 15 से 18, 15 से 20, 15 to 20, 15 to 18, depending upon your writing speed. That calculation I have done in the past, and from there I am telling you this. ठीक है? अब suppose ऐसे calculate कर लो ना. Suppose the entire paper is 200 marks. Suppose the entire paper is 200 marks. Upasana. This is for everyone, but Upasana had asked me. So Divyakshi Singh is asking, sir, all of this was held in S.R.Bommai. Sort of, you can say, because S.R.Bommai is a very long judgment, but whatever I dictated to you, it is not the same language of S.R.Bommai. This is broadly an interpretation of S.R.Bommai. So whatever I have dictated, it is not the same language. The first sentence was the same language. Religion is, secularism is not anti-God, etc. That was from S.R.Bommai. Rest is interpretation that I have done from S.R.Bommai and maybe some other cases also. So it was not a direct language from S.R.Bommai. So I was telling you, कोई लिख रहा है, विवेक पांडे लिख रहे हैं 15 मार्क्स के क्वेश्चन का क्या आंसर होगा. विवेक पांडे जी लिख रहे हैं 15 मार्क्स के क्वेश्चन का क्या आंसर होगा. विवेक पांडे जी आप इलाहाबाद से हैं. विवेक पांडे जी लगता है इलाहाबाद से हैं क्या. पहचान तो रहा हूँ. जिसने भी अपना प्रोफाइल फोटो लगा रखा है उन सबको पहचान रहा हूँ, बट कई लोगों ने नहीं लगाया. लगा दोगे तो अच्छा रहेगा, मैं सबको देख के पहचान जाऊँगा. 15 मार्क्स के लिए वही करो ना. 15 into 15, that is, I think 225. 15 into 15 is 225. So 225 to 250 words. अब suppose paper is 200 marks. तो 200 into 15 कितना होगा? Calculate करो. 200 marks into 15. 3000 words. Time given to you is 3 hours. Vivek is from Varanasi. Good. इलाहाबाद भी अच्छी जगह है, संगम है वहाँ पे. ठीक है. Let's come back. I said, so you have to write 3000 words minimum. 200 marks into 15 is 3000. So 3000 to 3500 words you have to write for the entire paper. अगर 15 से मल्टीप्लाई करते हो. अब सपोज 3000 ही मान लेते हैं. 3000 डिवाइडेड बाय 3 hours. तो 3000 डिवाइडेड बाय 180 minutes. 180 में से आप 20 minutes हटा लीजिए, बिकॉज रीडिंग क्वेश्चंस एंड देन looking at your neighbors, looking at the invigilator, that will take your time, no? So 20 minutes हटा लीजिए. In fact, you reduce 30 minutes because reading questions may take some time. Reading questions and framing answers may take some time. So you calculate on 150 minutes of writing. 150 minutes of writing in full speed. So 3000 divided by 150 कितना होगा बताइए जल्दी. रितु वर्मा इज फ्रॉम इलाहाबाद. बताइए जल्दी. 3000 divided by 150 minutes. How much? अब देखो यहाँ मैं पढ़ा रहा हूँ और ये लोग सब अपना अपना अपनी अपनी जगह बता रहे हैं. कोई वाराणसी का है, कोई इलाहाबाद का है, कोई कह रहा है, कपिल जी कह रहे हैं कि इलाहाबाद में तो बड़े इलाहाबाद यूनिवर्सिटी बहुत अच्छा है. मुझे पता है कपिल. तो अब छोड़ो उन सब बातों को, पढ़ाई पे ध्यान दो प्लीज. कितना हुआ? 3000 divided by 150 minutes. Is it 20? तो if your writing speed is 20 words per minute, अगर आप एक मिनट में 20 शब्द लिखते हैं तो आप पूरे पेपर में अगर 150 मिनट लिखोगे तो आप 3000 शब्द लिख सकते हो. अगर आप एक मिनट में 25 शब्द लिखते हैं तो पूरे पेपर में 150 मिनट में आप हो सकता है कि 3500 लिख लो. In the entire paper, if your writing speed is 20 minutes, normally whenever I speak in English, Hindi, I always translate that into English. So don't worry, those of you who do not understand Hindi, वैसे you should understand, but in case you don't, I always translate that into English, so don't need to worry about that. If you write 20 words in 1 minute, then in 150 minutes, you will be writing how much? 3000 words. If you write 25 words in 1 minute, then in 150 minutes, you will be writing more, 3200, 3400 kind of words. If you write 30 words in 1 minute, then you may be able to write, say, around 4000 plus words in. So it depends upon your writing speed, but broad calculation is for 1 mark question, you will be writing around 15 to 20 words. 15 to 20 words. So if it is 15 marks question, so 15 into 15, that is 225 if your writing speed is less. 15 into 20, that is 300 if your writing speed is normally good. And accordingly you can calculate. Is that fine? ठीक है. So, I was talking about S.R.Bommai. Now you see, let's go ahead. Now this was the 5th point, I believe. This was the 5th point, I believe. Next question, next point was a very important point, the last important point, that is the 6th point. That is the 6th point. उसको लिखिए आप प्लीज. 6th point को लिखिए. There is a distinction, please write. There is a distinction between there is a distinction between एक चीज और, कितना लिखोगे that is not very important. How much you will write, that is not very important. What is important is you must be able to complete your answer in totality. At times what happens is one question, the answer to one question may take more words, answer to another question may take lesser words. So that practical calculations you have to do on the spot. So for that it is better that you look at the previous year's mains papers and do a lot of practice so that time calculations etc. you can do. Now on this I will tell you, I keep telling you, someday when I am in that kind of a mood, I will tell you about all this in details. So don't need to worry about that. Let me get back. There is a difference between, there is a distinction between freedom of religion and secularism. There is a difference between freedom of religion and secularism. And secularism. Religion और secularism में फर्क है. There is a difference. I am giving you 30 seconds. I am giving you 30 seconds. Please write to me on live chat what you consider to be the difference. In very brief, in 1 or 2 sentences. What difference do you find between religion and secularism? आपको इन दोनों में क्या डिफरेंस दिखता है? लिखिए जल्दी से. I am waiting for your response. 30 seconds. Raghav Arora is asking how to answer in mains. So do you think that I was discussing how to answer in prelims right now? राघव जी, I can recognize you. आपका फोटो बड़ा प्यारा है. राघव पूछ रहे हैं कि हाउ टू आंसर इन मेंस. तो अभी जो मैं समझा रहा था और लिखवा रहा था तो वो क्या पीटी के लिए करवा रहा था? प्लीज राइट द आंसर टू दैट क्वेश्चन. राइट द आंसर टू दैट क्वेश्चन. Difference between religion and secularism. Someone is writing, Devashish is writing, so religion is a part of secularism. Secularism means, Akshit Kumar, secularism means all religions together. And Ayonila, spelling भूल गया. I could not read properly. It is scrolling very fast. She wrote, ha ha ha. She was, I think she was laughing on that comment that I made. Religion is personal, whereas secularism is not personal. Religion is, secularism is a broader word. These are the messages that the students are giving. तुम लोग इतना फास्ट लिख रहे हो कि ये स्क्रॉल करता जा रहा है. इट इज गोइंग वेरी फास्ट. आई एम नॉट एबल टू रीड. आई विल वेट फॉर सम टाइम. Mutual tolerance. What mutual tolerance? Freedom of religion is negative dimension. Genus and species. Secularism is the genus and this religion is the species. Ankit Rana is writing mutual tolerance. I think you have written sufficiently. Around 100 plus messages I have got. So I will read that later who has commented what. Some of them I can read right now. Secularism includes freedom of religion. उसने लिखा सर प्लीज रीड माई आंसर ऑल्सो. इट इज स्क्रॉलिंग सो फास्ट हियर. यू पीपल आर राइटिंग सो फास्ट. आई डोंट नो, डू यू टाइप बाय बोथ द हैंड्स और व्हाट? मुझे तो टाइप करना होता है एक मैसेज तो आई यूज वन फिंगर एंड आई डू द टाइपिंग. बट यू पीपल आर राइटिंग वेरी फास्ट. यंग जनरेशन. डिफरेंस बिटवीन यंग एंड ओल्ड पीपल. आई एम ओल्ड, यू आर यंग, एंड दैट इज द डिफरेंस. दैट इज वेरी करेक्ट. ये निकल गया आगे. किसने लिखा था मुझे नहीं पता चला. बट वन हैज रिटन एंड मेनी पीपल हैव रिटन दिस. यू ऑल आर वेरी नाइस पीपल. Someone had written Religion is personal to an individual. Religion is personal to an individual, whereas secularism is an aspect of attitude towards the others. Very correct. Secularism is an aspect of attitude towards others. That is, secularism is an aspect of, it means mutual respect. Fine? Freedom of individual is concerned about, religion is concerned about an individual, and secularism is concerned about others. Again, very correct. Religion is centripetal and secularism, religion is, Rohit Kumar, religion is centripetal force of secularism. Everyone is responding. Thank you. Thanks a lot. So let's go ahead. What you have to understand is, suppose I am a Hindu. So you ask me, what is your religion? I will say I am a Hindu. Someone is a Muslim, you will ask him or her, what is your religion? He or she will say, he or she is a Muslim. Now, the practice of Hinduism is personal to me. I will do my practice of Hinduism, I will do my prarthana, I will do my puja, I will do my Shivji ka abhishek, and I will do aarti and all that. So that is something personal to me. That is not going to very materially affect the society at large. That is not going to very materially affect the society at large. Because what I practice is personal to me. If I play loudspeakers while doing my aarti, maybe that will affect the society. If I do those kinds of activities, that may affect the society materially. So that may disturb the others. But otherwise, my worship is personal to me. At the most, I can tell people, I can profess that this is my religion. At the most, I can spread my religion, I can tell people that these are the virtues of my religion so that they adopt my religion. At the most, I can do. But I cannot do that by forceful or fraudulent methods, etc. So religion is personal to an individual and it will not materially. Religion is personal to an individual and it will not materially affect the rest of the society. Okay? But when you talk about secularism, the very term secularism means what is my disposition towards the others? What is my attitude? What is my temperament towards the others? How do I look at the others? So means secularism in itself has implicit my mind, my mental attitude towards the others. Secularism in itself has implicit in it my mind, my attitude, my disposition towards the people of the other religious communities. And that is where the difference lies. And that is where someone had written here that religion is personal to an individual and secularism is something which is related towards the others. Secularism affects the society directly. If I have got mutual respect for the others, so that results into societal fraternity. And if I do not have respect towards the others, people of other religion, then that will result into a rupture of the society. A breaking of the society, centrifugal force. So that is the basic difference between religion and secularism. Religion is personal to an individual. It normally remains within an individual, excepting that when its manifestations come out in the form of practice or propagation, then it may cause some disturbance to the others, which can be controlled. And there can be adjustments. For example, Jummah ka namaz. Ab Juma ka namaz means Friday prayer in the masjid. So people occupy, too many people are there, they will occupy spaces outside the masjid also, on the road also. Similarly, Bhagavati Jagran and Durga Puja and all, so they will put tents on the road, so that causes disturbance to the others. They will put loudspeakers, that will cause disturbance to the others. Similarly, I just told you last day the case of the Allahabad High Court on Azan, the recent judgment. So, this also may cause disturbance to the other, but these are material, physical disturbances. It is not a mental divide as such. But if I am not secular, then it will cause a mental divide in the society. It will cause a rupture, it will cause a failing of the society, failing of the society. So which is more vulnerable? Please write here. Which is more vulnerable? इनमें से कौन ज़्यादा vulnerable है? Religion is more vulnerable or secularism is more vulnerable in terms of fraternity? Please write. Religion is more vulnerable. Religion is more vulnerable or secularism is more vulnerable in terms of the society. Dimple Chaudhary is writing, secularism is secularism a freedom? Yes, it is a freedom of your mind. You may be secular, you may not be. If you are not secular, that will break the society. If you are secular, that will bind the society. People are writing secularism. You all are correct. Because secularism is more vulnerable because it will affect the society directly. It will affect the fraternity in the society, oneness in the society directly. Religion may remain to an individual within himself. For example, every morning when I get up and I have my bath, etc., after that, I always go to my temple. I have got a temple on the floor above this, and I always go to that temple. I do a small abhishek of Shivji, and on occasions on Mondays, normally if I am not available, I have got my class, then Panditji comes and he does a Rudrabhishek. Every morning, I will do a small prayer in my temple, Durga Mata ki puja, Badri Narayan ji ki puja, and so on and so forth, every day. But that is not disturbing the others. Is that? I am doing it inside my house, or maybe I go to a temple and do the puja. Does that affect the others? No, not at all. If I put a loudspeaker in my house and the speakers are outside and disturbing the others, so to that extent it may. But if I am not secular, then I start looking down upon the people belonging to the other religions. And that is where secularism becomes more vulnerable for societal fraternity as compared with religion. Fine? So I think we'll take a small break here of 2 minutes, and thereafter I will dictate to you on this point, some small points, and with that the discussion on secularism will get over. This was the last point. This is the 4th lecture on secularism. Already 3 lectures are over. We took 4 classes to complete secularism, and after this I have to start with Article 25, 26 and reading and interpretation of Article 25, 26, 27, etc. Because secularism as a concept I have explained, but the various provisions related to secularism 25 till 30, that is remaining to be discussed. So secularism is going on right now. Secularism is running in the classes right now. Abhi 25, 26, etc. up till 30 we will do. And secularism is not limited only to these 4, 5 articles. Article 14 also creeps in. Freedom of religion equally to all, equally. That is also secularism equally. So that is directly written in Article 25, but even if it had not been written there, Article 14 would have been sufficient. So let's take a 2-3 minutes break. Hello, we are back. Break is over. We hardly have any time left. It is hardly 10 minutes left. So I will try to complete the dictation on that point. Please write. Please write. Are you writing? ठीक है, let's write now. I hope you are all back. Religion is a matter internal to an individual. Religion is a matter internal to an individual. And it generally will not cause any disruption in the society as such. Religion is a matter personal to an individual, and it generally will not cause any disruption in the society as such, excepting, repeating the sentence, religion is a matter internal to an individual, and it will not generally cause any disruption in the society as such, excepting that certain religious practices comma, profession and propagation, excepting that certain religious practices, profession and propagation may disturb the others, but it can be curtailed and controlled by the state, but it can be curtailed and controlled by the state on the grounds of public order, health and morality. On the grounds of public order, health and morality. Public order, health and morality, and other fundamental rights. And other fundamental rights. Fine. Public order, health and morality and other fundamental rights. But I have told you that on these grounds the state makes the minimum interference. ये आपको बता चुका हूँ कि इन ग्राउंड्स पे स्टेट कम से कम न्यूनतम हस्तक्षेप करता है. The state does minimum interference, but yes, it can always interfere in order to prevent a person from affecting the others. ठीक. Religion per se does not materially affect the cohesion in the society. Religion per se does not materially affect the cohesion, 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 per se does not materially affect the cohesion in the society. Cohesion means what? The bond in the society. Cohesion in the society. On the other hand, next sentence, or you can say next paragraph also. You can write in a next paragraph. On the other hand, secularism is related to the state of mind of an individual. Secularism is related to the state of mind of an individual. State of mind of an individual and it may affect the societal cohesion. It may materially affect, and it may materially affect the societal cohesion and fraternity. Societal cohesion and fraternity. It is the disposition. It is the disposition, that is the attitude and temperament the attitude and temperament. It is the disposition, that is the attitude and temperament of one individual towards the other individuals one individual towards the other individuals belonging to other religions. Other individuals belonging to other religions. Belonging to other religions. स्क्रीन वापस ले आना. Belonging to the other individuals. And thus it will directly affect fraternity in the society. It will directly affect fraternity in the society. Thus, it will directly affect fraternity in the society, and fraternity in turn fraternity in turn may affect the unity and integrity of the nation, unity and integrity of the nation, and dignity of the individual. May affect the unity and integrity and dignity of the individual. Unity, integrity, and dignity of the individual. And dignity of the individual. Thus, in the practical sense, thus in the practical sense, with respect to societal fraternity, thus in the practical sense, with respect to societal fraternity, it is secularism, societal fraternity, it is secularism which is more vulnerable. It is secularism which is more vulnerable. It is secularism which is more vulnerable. That's all. Secularism which is more vulnerable. So this was the point, the last point. I had picked up the important points from S.R.Bommai and my own interpretations from there. Now with that, my initial discussion on secularism is over. Now I have to get into the various articles related to secularism. In that, I'll first of all be discussing Article 25. In the next class, I'll do that. Article 25, that is freedom of conscience and free profession, practice and propagation of religion. That is a marginal heading, Article 25. Freedom of conscience and free profession, practice and propagation of religion, and thereafter after 26 onwards. So tomorrow, for tomorrow's class, please come having read Articles 25, 26, 27, 28, and this much will take one class. ये पूरा एक क्लास में होगा, but फिर भी please read Article 29 and 30 also. So for tomorrow, 25, 26, 27, 28, and Article 29 and 30 also. Now this entire, all these articles together will take me around 4-5 days. 6 days also it may take. But 25 till 28 will take me less time. Main time will be consumed by Article 30. That may take me around 2.5 classes. Article 30. So that's all for today. We meet tomorrow again the same time, and God bless you, and stay safe, stay at home, don't roam around unnecessarily, and take care of yourself and your parents and everyone in the family. So we meet tomorrow. That's all for today. The class is over for today.